me, Mario.
And we are off. Toastrider already starting. Darkman as well, with that little bit of Twitch lag. Now, first off, we can see that Darkman is playing on the US version and Toastrider is playing on the Japanese version. At this level of play, it does not make that much of a difference, especially in a tournament setting where you're not going to be playing your absolute best and you're going to do a few safer strats. However, it is interesting to note that the US version for 70 star is about 1.95 seconds faster. Of course, it all depends on how you end up playing, and when there's a 6-minute difference between the runners, that obviously doesn't come as much into account. But we'll see what these two runners do during this race. And so they are both off. Let's see, both of them get the Lakitu skip. You can manage to skip the cutscene where the Lakitu explains how to control the camera by long jumping onto the left side of the banister there. And they are both going to go into Bob-Omb's battlefield and attempt their bomb clip. Bomb clip, for those of you who don't know, is a very, very common trick in which you throw the bomb, re-grab it, the way that Toastrider and Darkman are doing right now. Darkman did not quite manage to get it, but as you could see, Toastrider managed to grab it. The bomb enlarged itself because it was in the middle of exploding, and it pushes Mario back and through the grate. Here you can see Darkman managing to get it. And both of these runners are going to be doing a routing choice which is called Womps 9. That means that they are both going to go up into Peach's secret slide before doing Womp's Fortress, which means that they will have 9 stars by the time they come out of Womps, aka the reason why it's called Womps 9. And Toastrider gets the first slide star, no problem. I know for a fact that Toastrider is playing on an SM64. At least those are the stats that he has up on his Twitch page regarding what console he plays on. So N64 Japanese version, if I'm not mistaken, Darkman also plays on an N64 but uses the US version instead. And Toastrider attempting to go for Owless there, doesn't quite manage to get it. He's going to try again. Now, usually the normal way to get this star is to grab onto the owl that comes out of the tree next to the spawn point and have it drop you onto the cage. What Toastrider just managed to do is triple jump against the cage and then wall jump and go back in. It is a two frame trick, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2 frames. And it is rather complicated to pull off. It gives a lot of runners a lot of trouble, even in especially in tournament settings like this. We see here that Darkman did not manage to get that blue coin off of the piranha plant and will need to go for this other piranha plant instead. Both of them in the middle of doing their 100 coin. Oh, and Darkman does bonks and is going to have to edit his routing a little. Let's see how he recovers from that. Alright, not too bad. Managed to make good use of that teleport there, and that is putting them very close to each other. However, Toastrider already has the Owless star, which means that he is a whole star ahead. That's a really, really big head start for being this early in the race. And we are seeing here Toastrider going for another trick called Cannonless, in which you do that very specific movement in order to clip into the wall and manage to get the star that is inside the wall that usually you would have to blow up by using the cannon. Here we see Darkman going for Owless, manages to get it first try. Very good there. And Toastrider obviously managed to get his Cannonless first try. That's always good. Sometimes the setup kind of jukes you a little, and you have to go for the shoot into the wild blue star as a backup. They don't seem to be having too much trouble, so let's see if Darkman does the same thing. Darkman, unfortunately, almost missing his... Well, almost getting it, missing his movement a little, so goes for the shoot into the wild blue star instead. And Toastrider about to show off a trick that you probably didn't know existed when you were playing casually. You can just ground pound right through the womp. He doesn't even notice you're there. It's rather interesting, and it's definitely something you can show off to your friends who maybe don't see speedruns of this. Darkman going for a very fast setup. But that fast setup does not manage to pay dividends. He is going to have to go up and try again. And let's see if he manages to do it. And he does, absolutely. Toastrider going for his last star in this stage, thus completing Womps, and he is going to go on to get the second slide star. He's going to get the wing cap star, and then he's going to do Bowser in the Dark World. And Darkman is a star and a half behind him. He is going to have to pick it up, and we will see how both of them keep going with this. Absolutely. This is still the very, very beginning of the race. Dark absolutely has the potential to make a comeback. It all depends on how the both of them play. So Dark is going in for his last star of Womp's Fortress right now, as Toastrider goes on to get his wing cap. His wing cap red coin star. No problem at all for either of them. Let's see if Toastrider manages to get the jump properly. And he does manage to get it. That's also called a text box skip. It basically entails jumping off of the switch and getting the star before touching the ground. If you touch the ground after hitting the switch, but before getting the star, you will get a few text boxes explaining how the wing cap works and the fact that the red blocks are now solid and that you can touch them. So managing to get that saves about 4 seconds if I'm not mistaken. Toastrider going into Bowser in the Dark World already. As with most of the Bowser stages, very, very important to get your movement right in this stage. Very tight movement. Both this stage and Bowser in the Fire Sea are on really tight timers. What this means is that if you manage to get your movement done perfectly, you can make the earlier cycle on these platforms that Toastrider is standing on right now, and you can shave off like an entire second. However, that did not pose too much of a problem for Toastrider. He managed to sync up rather well. Darkman also managing to get the jump without any problem at all. Toastrider already going for the first Bowser fight. Decides to use the strategy of playing it safe, getting Bowser really close to a mine, and then just throwing him that short distance in order not to risk it, and in order not to risk throwing him over the edge and losing that much more time. It's very good. It's a rather safe strategy. And so for this kind of tournament play, very, very sensible to do that. And Toastrider is going to go back into BOB for the last star that he's going to be getting here. And watch his movement, because that is very, very nice movement. You jump over the banister, then you kick up this slope, and you triple jump onto this mound in order to make it onto the island. Unfortunately, Darkman misses his movement and falls off of the stage. That's going to cost him a good amount of time. He's going to have to make up for that somehow later in the run. And he's going to have to hope that Toastrider makes a mistake that is similar to that, because that really did cost him a lot of time right now. And Toastrider about to go into CCM. And here we're going to have our first and really our only route divergence between the two. Toastrider is going to do CCM 18, which means he is going to bundle the 100 coin CCM star with the penguin race, which means he's going to have to go down the big slide twice. One for the first star and one for the penguin race and the 100 coins. On the other hand, Darkman64000 is going to bundle the 100 coin star with the first slide star, which means he's going to get to skip the penguin race. That means that Toastrider is going to get out of the stage with 18 stars, and Darkman is going to get out of the stage with 17 stars. Darkman64000 later in the run does Hazy Maze Cave, Toxic Maze in order to make up for that extra star, and those kinds of things are always left. Those routing choices are always left to the preference of the runner, whether they prefer to do one star or the other. CCM 17 is slightly faster and also slightly safer, since it allows you to miss coins down the slide, as opposed to CCM 18, in which you have to get basically exactly 100 coins. So here we see Toastrider going into the slide. And apparently I'm being told by Toastrider that he is using a different route from his current PB video, and is instead doing CCM 17, the exact same as Darkman. I'm curious, Toastrider, which other star are you doing apart from TTC 100 later in the run? Are you doing Toxic Maze? Are you doing THI Reds? Are you doing SSL Secrets? Yep. As Mythical pointed out, Toastrider missed a coin, ended up with 99, but in CCM 17 you are in fact allowed to miss a coin. You can just get them outside, as opposed to CCM 18, where you have to get both of the stars inside the cabin. And I am being told that Toastrider is going to be doing THI Reds for that extra star. According to Alcobac Narco, if you want to believe them, go ahead. I'm believing him. Theoni1482, eliminations start right now, in fact. Eliminations started at the beginning of January, and this is an elimination match. So only the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals are best of 3. Every other bracket stage match up to then is going to be single elimination. So one loss and you're out, basically. And Toastrider is going through Big Boo's haunt with absolutely no problem. Manages to get both of the stars in there and moves on to Mips and to the basement. Darkman showcasing my favorite trick in the run. Getting the penguin down the slope. I can pull it off, and I don't run this game, so that's why I like the trick. That's basically it. Yes, Tama Darkman is doing CCM17. Yep, if they both finish at the same time, there will be a rematch. Darkman missing his jump right there, taking a death, not very good. That's going to cost him a fair amount of time there. Not as much as when he fell off of a bit of Big W, but unfortunately, he misses his jump again. That is not going to go over well. Toastrider, however, managing to get his pillarless set up. Pillarless is a trick where you use the bomb clip similar to the one that they used for the first star of this game in order to get through the pyramid to get through the top of the pyramid instead of having to blow up the top by standing on the four pillars, which is why it's called pillarless. And he's going through SSL, no problem. Definitely a contentious stage, very dangerous stage. You can, if you miss a trick, if you miss your movement, you can fall into one of the sand pits and straight up die if you spend more than a couple frames standing still on the sand pits. You just die. It's an immediate death. So definitely a very punishing stage. Toastrider is absolutely flying through it. And he's already done with it, so he's going to go into Lethal Leveland for the next 6 stars. Darkman following suit in and going into the Boo's haunt. Darkman managing to get up there in order to go up to the Big Boo. And Toastrider also showcasing a very nice bit of movement. I always quite like the triple jump off of the arch that allows you to get over that wall. And Darkman is about to join Toastrider down in the basement. Now, Darkman is about to catch Mips, the bunny. And for those of you who don't know, aka those of you who haven't heard me commentate before, because I end up saying this every run, Mips is the name of the bunny, and he's named that way after the processor inside the Nintendo 64. It's a little tidbit of trivia that you may not have known about. Yeah, it was such an advancement, it was such a technological advancement that the Super Mario 64 developers decided to kind of immortalize it. So there you go. Darkman going for pillarless as well. The bomb explodes on him, so he's going to have to go for a different star in the meantime. Toastrider having no problem with the bullies.
Here we go!
And Darkman does not quite manage to get his setup there. That is definitely very unfortunate. For those of you who might have seen Toastrider do Pitiless right now and thought that it was an easy thing, it is absolutely not. You have to use those sandhills to align you in the exact proper trajectory as Darkman is doing right now. Let's see if he does manage to get it. No, unfortunately the bomb explodes. That is indeed very unfortunate. He's going to have to retry. Let's see. It appears he's going to opt to go over to the shell and do it the casual way. However, Toastrider unfortunately taking a death inside the volcano. Lava boosts are very dangerous things, guys. You shouldn't do it IRL. Only certified Mario should be doing this. That being said, inside the volcano, there are 2 stars, and on both of them, we use lava boosts in order to skip large chunks of the way up to the star. Toastrider has already done both of them, so he's already going on into Hazy Maze Cave. And for those of you who don't know, HMC or Hazy Maze Cave does not have any ceilings. A fact that Toastrider is showing off right now. So if you want to get from one room to the other, but don't want to use the door like a normal person, you can just jump over the wall. There's no ceiling. You're gonna jump over the wall, you're gonna end up on the other side, and you can end up right on the star. Toastrider deciding to go down on the lower side in order to get the emergency exit. Oh, and that is absolutely horrible. Darkman overshooting the platform and ending up in lava after he had already unlocked the bully star. That is going to cost him some extra time, and that is really not something you want to see happen, like on a tournament, on a run, on a PB run, or anywhere. Toastrider almost missing that jump. That was very, very close right there. And Toastrider triple jumping and wall kicking in order to get the Christmas miracle, and he manages to get it, showcasing once again how Hazy Maze Cave is really Hazy Maze Canyon. And with that Toastrider is about done with basement. He is just going to go over to Dire Ducks and then Bowser in the Fire Sea. But apart from that, there's no other stages that he has to do down there. Darkman managing to get through that rocky patch and getting back on the way. Now, Dire Docks, or DDD, the stage that Toastrider is in right now, is infamous for a couple things. First off, if you play 120 star, you know what getting the 100 coin star in this stage is like. You, we pity you. We're sorry. I'm sure the actual developers would also be sorry. But for everyone else, there are two main elements in this stage in Dire Docks that cause a fair amount of lag when rendered, so the players are going to play with the camera tight on Mario so that those elements are not on the screen for as long as possible. One of them is the whirlpool here in the middle of this room, and the other one is Bowser's sub in the other room. So you saw Toastrider going in Mario Cam right there during the previous star in order to keep the camera as tight on Mario as possible, and here he is going to be looking away from the submarine and just keeping it off screen for as long as he can in order to reduce the lag there. And there he goes, he manages to get the star. So DDD is going to be pushed back, and he is going to go back into DDD for one last star though. The Manta Ray star, infamous for its hitboxes. Let's see if it lives up to its infamy. Absolutely no problem for Toastrider. Manages to get all 5 of them, one after the other. That's very good. Very good to see. There's already been a few tournament races in which the rings just didn't want to cooperate and just stopped. Just didn't register, so they had to do all 5 again. It was not great. And Toastrider going into Bowser in the Fire Sea, another Bowser stage on a very tight timer. The faster you do this stage, the better, absolutely. If you manage to do all of your movement nigh perfectly, you can manage to make the fastest cycle of the elevator being that yellow and blue structure that Toastrider is going to start approaching right now on this level. And that would mean that he is going to manage to get up to the top much faster, and he manages to make the first cycle using that lava boost strat. That's very, very impressive, very nice to see. Darkman going for the Christmas Miracle and not quite getting it. However, a double jump and a wall kick here is enough to make it through. And Toastrider going into the second Bowser stage, into the second Bowser fight, I mean. Something that some people may not know is that this Bowser is the one that spins the fastest. When you're doing spins, it's very complicated to aim, so if you miss the first throw and Bowser starts moving around the stage and tilting it, it's rather complicated to get it back on track. So very good to see that Toastrider has absolutely no problem with it. He is now going to go back into the lobby and go upstairs into Wet Dry World. And Wet Dry World, for those who don't know, has a special property. Oh, everyone, look at what Darkman just did. That's a clip that you get in the middle of two wall textures in order to make the Toxic Maze star a lot faster. That's always very, very good to see. Not all that easy to get either. You have to go through the wall in a very specific way. So, as I was mentioning, Wet Dry World has what some people like to call a dynamic painting entrance. That means that depending on how you enter the painting, you get it affects the stage, which means that in Wet Dry World, if you enter at a higher level, the water is going to be higher, and if you enter at a lower level, the water is going to be lower. You are going to see them do at least 1 star, in which they are going to enter the paint at mid-range, the painting at mid-range, so that they can bounce off of the source kit and get to this area faster.
Here we go! Here we go!
For those of you who asked on the chat, Toastrider's PB is 4944 and Darkman's is 5611. And Darkman managing to get done with HMC and is going to go into Dire Docks and Bowser in the Fire Sea. Toastrider missing his jump right there. He's going to have to try again. And this time he manages to make it. Ooh, I stand corrected. Apparently Toastrider got a 49.35 in a tournament race. So the PB I've been mentioning this whole time was wrong. Let me correct that.
Here we go!
Darkman now going for the Bowser Substar in order to open up Bowser in the Fire Sea, and in the meantime Toastrider is going to start off in the huge island. Some people, some runners decide never to start in the huge island. They always do all of their stars from the small island. However, because Toastrider wants to do THI Reds instead of Toxic Maze, entering in the huge island does give him the advantage of getting here faster. So he gets it with some actually beautiful movement. It's very easy to fall in this area, so very good to see that he had absolutely no problem. And Darkman, as I mentioned earlier, getting absolutely trolled by the Manta Ray hitboxes. Those rings do not guarantee that you will get them even if you go straight through the middle, as you just saw happen there. He does manage to get it on the second try, so that is very good for him indeed.
Here we go!
And Darkman going through Bowser in the Fire Sea as well. Let's see if he manages to make the fastest cycle as Toastrider had managed to do before. Unfortunately, that fall is going to preclude that from that. He is not going to be able to make the fastest cycle of the elevator.
Here we go!
And Toastrider about to do one of the stars that some people really, really like to watch. It's been called aesthetically pleasing before. It seems scary to have to deal with these huge piranha plants when you're playing casually, but then it turns out that you can just kind of just slide on in and just wreck them. So that is the last star that Toastrider has for THI. He is going to get the second Toad star right here, and then he's going to go into Tall Mountain. Now, Tall Mountain, also a slightly infamous stage, mainly because due to its complex geometry, it houses a few invisible walls. Now, what invisible walls entail is literally what you think they do. They are walls that you can see that were misprogrammed, that go a little past their actual boundaries, and that can heck Mario in the middle of a jump. Toastrider managing to get the log wall kick and the wall kick next to the cascade in order to get that star very, very fast. I'm always stressed whenever someone goes for a log wall kick strat because I always feel like they're going to die. For Steven DeBrew, the reason why some runners do Hazy Maze Cave Toxic Maze is because they need basically there are, let's say that the base routing that gets you with that nets you 68 stars is CCM17, and that's it basically. And so in order to get the last 2 stars, you need to choose to do two things out of a pool of 4, basically. Out of a pool of 4 or 5, really. You can choose to do CCM18 instead of CCM17. You can choose to do TTC 100. You can choose to do SSL secrets, THI reds. Some people also choose other stages, but those are basically the 4 most popular. All of those take more or less the same amount of time. What you actually route in depends on your preference as a runner, depends on how fast you can get through any of those. So you will see some runners going for Toxic Maze and other runners doing THI Reds instead, which is exactly what happened in this race. And for those who don't know, on the Lonely Mushroom, not that mushroom that Toastrider almost fell off of right now, but on the Lonely Mushroom, that for the Lonely Mushroom star, there is actually an invisible wall on the back of the mushroom. Not usually that much of a problem since you kind of manage to avoid it by virtue of not needing to go anywhere past it, but it's there. So Toastrider is about to do well, he has decided to do the In the Deep Freeze star as a backup, but on top of Snowman's big head, my apologies, is one of the stars with my favorite movement in the game. It just looks really, really good if you manage to chain the triple jumps and the wall kicks and the everything right. It seems he's leaving it for later though.
Here we go!
It's not necessarily my fap star, Toast. Don't worry. You don't have to apologize for that. You gotta concentrate on the run. He did not quite manage to get the movement, but he's going to be able to try again. And Toast manages to get the star. Absolutely no problem at all. Oh no, yeah, I don't think Toast minds talking either, otherwise he wouldn't be on here. But you know. Speaking of which, guys, if you're liking this, right? If you're liking this race, if you're liking watching these runners get through this game in a ludicrous amount of time, go follow them. Their channels are Darkman64000, so 64,000, and Toastrider91. Go ahead, give them a follow. They stream, obviously, they stream Super Mario 64, and some of our runners stream other games as well. So if you're entertained, are you not entertained? Go ahead, give them a follow. I am absolutely sure they will appreciate it. Toastrider managing to get the chill with the ice bully, and chill with the bully actually, star, and that being one of the stars that some people say is not necessarily aesthetically pleasing, but definitely auditorially pleasing. I've had people say that they would love to they could fall asleep to just chill with the bully for 10 hours on repeat. All right, Toastrider managing to get up to Tippy, which is so called because it is the tippy top of the castle, and going into a Rainbow Ride, also known as by frustrated runners. And he's going to go for a trick called Lakitu Bounce, and in which he's bouncing off of the ramp right there, bouncing off of the Lakitu, and getting onto the pole. He had a little trouble getting onto the pole right there because if you catch it at its very lowest point, Mario can get stuck in the middle of catching and not catching it, and you have to basically mash B until he manages to grab onto it. But he did manage to grab back onto it and get the cruiser star, absolutely no sweat. Narrowly missing that 8th red coin right there. Does not lose too much time though.
Here we go!
And Darkman is going to go right into TTM and keep getting his stars. He has definitely not given up yet, and I would be surprised if that happened. Unfortunately, that box trolls him, and he has to take a death. That is not something you want to see anywhere, anytime you're running. Toastrider is about to go into his last star for Rainbow Ride, the swing and mid restart. And absolutely no problem. He does go through the second swing route instead of going over and triple jumping on the flamethrower. That's definitely saving him some seconds. And with that, Toastrider is going to go onto the last set of stars on the game. That is TikTok Clock. A very complicated, very technical stage, but when you do manage to get all of the movement, it feels really, really good to get through the stage and basically navigate it. It involves really, really tight movement and not much margin for error, especially when the time is moving. Darkman going for the log wall kick, manages to get it no problem. And he's going to go for the Cascade Star. There we go. Now both Toastrider and Darkman are going to do TTC 100. Here we see Toastrider getting his 100 coin star, and Darkman will be doing it when he gets to that point in the run. Toastrider doing the little swag wall kicks up to the star rather than having to wait for the thwomp. And Toastrider is actually trying to go up the Red's platforms while moving time. He's actually going to do moving Reds. That involves, as you can see, a lot of expertise. And apart from a couple hiccups there, he manages to get it with barely a sweat. That's very good. Darkman getting picked up by the Chakya, thankfully getting thrown inwards rather than outwards. Very, very good. Admiral Mac moving Reds is not it is very impressive to see. Toast is not the first person I've seen doing it in a tournament race in this tournament. For some of the runners, they might say it's easy, but also there's a ridiculous amount of swag going on there. Darkman managing to get the snowman's big head movement right down, and he gets that star with no problem at all. Another chill with the bully. For those of you who like ASMR. You know, Toast, say what you want, but every time someone uses the Reds platforms to go up while they're moving, it's great to see. It's a very, very nice movement to watch. Kip21, that is absolutely correct. You get 70 stars, and then you beat Bowser, aka the this 70 star category is also called no major skips. Glitches are allowed, but no glitches that skip large portions of the run. So this is basically what you would have to do in order to beat the game casually. And with that, Toastrider gets his last star and is going to go into Bowser in the sky. Last area of the game. Let's see how he does. There tend to be some upsets, sometimes in tight races. Some people fall off. Some people have troubles with Bowser throws. However, with the lead that Toastrider has right now, I would not expect that to be excessively complicated for him. By the way, if you're watching this and you're deciding that you like watching these kinds of tournaments and you like watching these kinds of events and races, Speed Gaming has more than just the Speed Gaming channel. We have Speed Gaming 2, Speed Gaming 3, and Speed Gaming 4 as well. We have a ton of tournaments going on. We just came out of December, in which Speed Gaming did an absolutely massive amount of tournaments and showcases and games and races, etc. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone. So if you want to get more of speedrun races, Speed Gaming is the channels you should probably be following. And we see Toastrider going into the last Bowser fight. 3 throws, manages to get the first one. Does not quite manage to get the second one. Getting these throws, for those of you who don't know, is not trivial at all. Top runners, like when I say top runners, I mean world record holders have world record attempts and PB attempts destroyed by Bowser throws. However, Toastrider manages to get his second throw, does not quite manage to get the third one though. Let's see if he manages to make up for that. And yes, he does manage to get the third one on his second try, and he is about to finish. Let's see. Let's watch Darkman here do a Lakitu bounce real quick. The Lakitu did not cooperate, moved off of the way just a little bit. And Toastrider finishes the race in first place with an official SL time of 50 minutes and 51 seconds. Get your GGs in the chat. Good, absolutely good game, Toastrider. Now, let's see if we can get Toast in here for an interview.
Here we go!
In the meantime, while we watch the credits on Toastrider's side of the screen, we get to watch Darkman get through Rainbow Ride. He's going to attempt Lakitu bounce again, wall kick, and Lakitu juked him again. That is very unfortunate. The enemies in this game follow a rather deterministic path. It depends on where Mario is, but unfortunately you can't always rely on them. So he is going to go for the alternative route of going through the glass cages. Does not quite manage to make the jump though. He's going to try again. And this time he manages to get it. Perfect.
Here we go! Let's go!
And Darkman doing trick triangles here. I do not know how the developers expected any casual players on their first playthrough to manage to get through tricky triangles with that amount of time on the timer. Not something that you can do if you don't have a good mastery of the movement, basically. And it seems that we are not going to be able to interview Toastrider91. However, feel free to ask him questions in the chat. He's there right now. If you want anything you want answered, if you want to congratulate him on his win, that is absolutely what you should be doing. And Toastrider will be on the next round, going against the winner of the match between Ruby Sorry and Steve Massey, which has not been scheduled yet. There's still a lot of matches in these rounds. We are giving the runners a little leeway in terms of scheduling their matches, because obviously GDQ is going on and some runners are actually at GDQ right now. So don't worry if you missed a lot of matches. There's still more. In fact, if you missed a few matches and you want to watch some more Super Mario 64 races right now, Speed Gaming has a YouTube channel. If you search for Speed Gaming on YouTube, you can get it you can get it right away. It's the first thing that pops up. And all of the matches get uploaded within 1 or 2 days within 2 or 3 days, sorry, of the match actually happening. So you can go and watch all of the SM64 races that you've missed. as well as all of the other races that you may have missed. Darkman slipping off of the edge of the platform there, unfortunately.
Mamma mia! Tego!
Everyone look at chat. Our amazing restreamer Mythical is making sure that we get all of the links that we need in order to keep following this, even when we're not watching. Everyone give a bit hand to Mythical, by the way. He is, along with Fiesel, one of the people in the speed gaming community that restream and make sure that you guys actually get to see this kind of content.
Here we go!
So with Darkman 4 stars away from finishing the run, let's keep watching, because
Tego!
even though the race is not over. Darkman has to finish. The race is not over, okay, guys? It might already be decided, but it's always good to watch a good racer get through a game like this.
Tego! Here we go! Tego!
Now, while we watch Darkman, I apologize, get through the last 3 stars of the run, remember to follow the runners. The runners are doing an amazing job. They are very brave to allow us to restream them in front of a much larger audience than they're used to. So go ahead, give them a follow. I'm sure they will appreciate it, and you will appreciate it. You will get to see even more Super Mario 64, as well as whatever other games they stream. So win-win, absolutely win-win. Darkman missing that jump twice, unfortunately the second time that landed him in the chasm, and he's going to have to try it again.
Tego!
While Darkman does these last 3 stars, if you still want some more speedrunning in about, a couple hours? Yes, in 2 hours at 6 p.m. here on Speed Gaming, we are going to have our Super Mario Odyssey Any Percent tournament race between Kerbis54 and IIPK. Yes, that is correct. We're already having tournaments for Super Mario Odyssey. It's been going on for a couple months now, and it's very, very fun to watch. So if you want some of that, it's happening right here on Speed Gaming at 6 p.m. EST.
Tego! Mamma mia! Tego!
And Darkman finally 1 star away from getting enough stars to collapse the endless stairs. And apparently he's challenging himself and going to do triple jump right side on Bowser in the Sky. That's for those of you who know, slightly faster, more complicated, riskier strategy that I will point out when it happens. And that is it, the 70th star. That's the last star that Darkman needs to get in order to go up to Bowser in the Sky. Right now, it's the home stretch. Just needs to do Bowser in the Sky, do the Bowser throws, and he's good. And here's an element that always fascinated me, these walls that you can run up. Even though I've watched a few videos explaining how the walls and the floors work, and that seem to contradict the reason, that seem to contradict the existence of those walls. I don't know, they're interesting. They're definitely the developers showing off. And Darkman manages to pull off right side with absolutely no problem at all. Godflow, I can assure you, commentator has not had a hot date in ages. Don't worry. And here we see him going for the last Bowser throws. Let's see if he manages to get the first one. Absolutely, he manages to nail it. Second one as well. Let's see if he manages to get all 3 on the first try. That would be a very good end for this one. And the third one as well. He does a little breakdance move. And with that, Darkman finishes in 2nd place. And we will have his official time as soon as he gets the start. And with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 47 seconds. Let's see if he wants to come in for an interview and see what he has to say. And we are managing to get Darkman on here for an interview. That's going to be very nice. I will get to talk to someone else instead of just talking to myself and to the chat. So once again, follow the runners. They absolutely deserve it. If you liked this kind of race, follow Speed Gaming as well as Speed Gaming 2, 3, and 4. We do a lot of races of this kind, and you will undoubtedly enjoy it. And here we have Darkman for an interview.
Yeah.
GG, Darkman.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
This one was so bad.
Unfortunately, was it the tournament nerves, or what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. Sometimes my races are good, and sometimes they're totally wrong, like this one. So I don't know. Maybe just bad luck.
Yeah, maybe just bad luck. It happens in this kind of races. It just happens. Yeah. It's unfortunate. So what would, regardless of all of the low points, what would you say was your high point in the race?
Was on the sky.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. That
But
very good with that swag right side.
I just go YOLO for this right side because I actually lost the race, so just try it and got it first try. But all of the run except that was very bad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I hope you at least enjoyed being on the tournament for as long
Yeah,
as you were.
yeah. It's a good idea to do tournament like this, I believe.
Yeah,
We can
absolutely.
race against top player like Punkei, for example, or Cheese maybe.
Yeah, and it's yeah, I absolutely agree. It's very nice to have races in which it's great to have tournaments in which like there's no restriction. And sure, if you're not that good of a player, you may get eliminated in the group stages, but you're still gonna have been able to play.
Yeah, right.
All right, so is there anything you would like to say?
Just say good luck for all the runner. We're still in the tournament. And I don't know. Maybe I will come for the next tournament.
I certainly hope so.
And maybe with a better PB.
Maybe with a better PB. I mean, if you keep at it, I have no doubt that you'll manage to lower that.
Yeah. For the moment, I have a 56.11 with at least 2 minutes lost on the run, so I can improve very easily. Yeah.
Yeah. Always good to have a very clear time save that you can strive towards.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the interview. Thanks for the great race and for all of the races that.
Thanks for the commentary.
Of course. And with that, we are going to end this stream. So thanks to the runners for doing this amazing, for performing this amazing race for us. We would not be here if it wasn't for them. Thanks to our restreamer Mythical9, who has been taking care of holding down the fort and basically making sure that all of these races get streamed right to you guys. And thanks to the audience, all of you guys on the chat making fun of me and basically making the commentary a lot more fun to do. Remember to give the runners a follow. Remember that we have a YouTube channel so that you can catch all of the races that you've missed. Up next on Speed Gaming at 6 p.m. EST, we have the Super Mario Odyssey Any Percent race between Curvis54 and IIPK. And with that, I will sign off. My name has been Ashay Arya, and until next time, good luck, have fun.